Yo, 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 yo. Hey, how's it going, y'all? We're here again, episode 3 of the Sanity Trance. Today, I'm going to kind of vibe out on the idea of the God complex in creative endeavors. This can be really at its core identity attachment, but like without the ability of metacognition from the fourth wall of the viewer viewing this thought pattern. This is what happens when someone completely identifies with a certain category of thoughts that they have just impulsively. Some people end up in this position from a place of muscle memory, but on a really deep level of thought patterns. And that is some craziness right there, because we're kind of in the middle of a world of unrealized identity attachments and enabled identity attachments, as well as like distractions to create new identities to get attached to, all with all the distractions of the internet and all those things. So with the idea of the God complex, it really, that's kind of, typically I hear it used like they think that they're God or something, that whole idea. And the way I got hit by it in a different way one time, just having the idea of just a deep, honest want for reality and the love of it, and love in reality, like whatever it actually is supposed to be, not Hollywooded out or whatever you want to, whatever kind of filter we've managed to put on it and repeat, But the idea, the way it hit me was, I don't want to throw a single verb in the wrong direction. I don't want to worship the wrong thing, and I don't want to be worshipped either. And it put me in such a state of paralysis for a little bit, because in that moment I didn't have the answers that I had needed. It took me, it kind of raised some really important questions in my head that I juggled in my mind for like a year before I really understood why was I able to keep living after having that thought, for how paralyzed I was mentally about it. I mean, really, it felt weird. I didn't feel right moving a finger if I was going to be doing it, just to end up having the whole thing just get deleted into nothingness of illusion, So, I mean, and there's so many ways a belief system can make you just absolutely act psychotic in a lot of ways and delusional. So I just want to make sure the belief systems I've adopted and found and related with, and whatever's left resonating beyond the facets that were placed there by identity attachment, that seems to be where it is for me. I love subscribing to ideas like non-dualism and Buddhism, and I was raised Catholic, and so I've got all these kind of texts that speak of the same language in a few different languages. It's really, not literally though. I speak English, and that's pretty much all I have, but from other cultures' perspectives, other sides of the world, the way they speak of the very same ideas that are transcendent, that speaks very loudly to myself. So lately, as I create, it's just kind of blending certain truths at certain times, just like real improv. And it's such a macro micro type of transcendent idea that just exists in all sorts of different dimensions of reality to be seen, that I can definitely depend on that, and it's just about as real as gravity. So it's everything is just going to keep going so that I can have another day's chance at finding who I really am and reaching a state of peace and staying there. And this seems to be the journey for everyone if you are if you have the courage to accept it, because it's kind of hard to not only practice metacognition but also to be able to see yourself and see the things that may offend you about yourself versus the things that make you feel better about yourself. But again, if you're using comparisons about your specific position or disposition in life, you're trying to really tell the universe how it is in the face of the universe letting you question it in the middle of it, within it, from within. So that's really awesome, honestly. That's, if I was a programmer and had to program this entire reality, I don't think I'd change anything, because this way it truly allows for expression at its fullest. And we all have our limitations, but that seems to make me even more creative, and we really do surprise ourselves with how effortless creation comes right out of us or right through us or any of that, and so I don't know, I'm loving it. What I realized after going through all those crazy thoughts about, if I'm doing this all in the name of the wrong thing, then what's the point of anything? It had me frozen, and yet a year passed, and I was just constantly juggling that in my head, and I realized, regardless of what I perceive or what anyone else perceives, there's things that we need to do today as a planet to survive together. And I don't know what that is, but I know that's real. It's like there's something feels right about being able to help each other. And I can watch a busy restaurant all day long and wonder what everyone's even thinking. What are they doing? Like, where's everybody going? Wondering how many of these people are just in their own one-track autopilot mind without a second thought about it, And if that's the case, you might have unintentionally given yourself a God complex of a sort, this reality that you're attached to and all of its programmed responses that you have built through muscle memory, through experience, through being in the same circles with the same people who speak the same way for years and years, so these all create patterns, but they're bigger patterns and they're really hard things to break. So that's kind of what makes metacognition so difficult, is while you're practicing it, you're witnessing so many things from the outside of the machine that you're tempted to identify with those things, and then you could say I'm woke or I'm more woke than I was, and really you're more conscious. That's true, but like consciousness can be endlessly expanded, and that's kind of the way I've made peace with eternity, is just, if that's all we're doing is learning new skills every day and learning more about things we already know about, that's how we're keeping from senility. So I just wanted to really to really wrap it up. What made me feel all right with the old idea of the God complex was, first of all, noticing it, because that's an awesome creative tool right there. I don't have to suffer from this, but I can use it as a creative tool for characters just made up in stories to write lyrics about, or fiction, or even a alibi. That's probably the most useful thing in creativity about the God complex idea, is it teaches you how much power is in a single identity. So if you're one of these people who doesn't belong anywhere, but they love everything and you play all sorts of whatever, consider having several different alibis so you can give each one of your interests a reality of its own. And, each idea can have its own entire storyline with comic books and superheroes and the villain, the classic everything, right? And it's all just based on a single idea being believed in. And, if you believe in it so hard it takes over your entire life and ruins your life, then that's what happens when your priorities are out of whack, Like, it's a spiritual thing. And really all I'm saying is, the word religion might as well be replaced with the word worldview. And that, because that definitely makes a difference on what side of the world you live on to survive and get by and just to be okay with understanding your culture. But if your priorities are out of whack, you can tell because there's a party that's suffering. It may not be loud. It may be loud, but that seems to be relative to the amount of misprioritization going on. Like miscompartmentalized ideas being placed out of priority where something's just out of balance because it's out of balance from the core. You can't have a super giant building without a good foundation. So, yeah, the reason I do anything nowadays is because there is a truth to a process of truth, and I've learned that I can't, no matter what I feel about what's real, it's going to be real without me and my opinion about it. And on a worldview tip, there's so much that we all have in common that it's really harder. I feel like we have more in common than we have not, for all the far differences in cultural beliefs and things like that. It's, we all bleed the same. Time treats us all the same. We love the same. We feel the same on a sensory level. We're all just trying to make the best of all this confusion. And I really sympathize with people who haven't taken a second look outside of their own mind via this idea of questioning your identity and where you are in the world and where you belong and where you see yourself going next. All those things are based on a universal perspective on your experience instead of just what you think you should be doing because this is how you feel today. So it's to sum it up one more time, I do everything because it brings me peace to help everyone, and it brings me peace to speak of peace and research peace and, really study it from the front lines of it, understanding that I'm an identity that's studying the idea of peace. And as an artist, I'm trying to make peace as multidimensional as it can possibly be. And I don't know what that means, but as I find that out, I can tell you more about it. And the details that start coming out are undeniably true and undeniably fresh. And yet they resonate. They're always going to be here. They're ancient at the same time. That's what's hilarious. There's nothing new under the sun. And that's a whole other conversation. So we'll have to jump on that next time. But for now, help each other out, because I don't know who's right, but there is a universal path to harmony. And as a musician, I don't know why you wouldn't be about that life. But anyway, y'all have fun writing, y'all have fun creating. Let me know what's going on, man. Anyway, I'll see y'all next time. Much love, y'all. Peace.